A little bit of an introduction. Judge Hinds has been serving as a judge in the Provincial Court of Saskatchewan for 14 years. During this time on bench, he has presided over Drug Treatment Court in Regina, Moose Jaw for about 12 years, and Mental Health Court in Regina. So, Judge Hinds, please feel free, switch on your camera and take over. And thank you for being here, and thank you for your presentation.
Well, you're welcome. Can you hear me or see me?
We can hear you, but we cannot see you, Judge Hinds.
Okay, maybe I'll push this button here.
Yeah, so at the bottom, you will see a video camera. If you can click on the video camera, hopefully. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Nice to see you, Judge Hinds. Take over. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to be able to present to the group today. I've been involved with Therapeutic Courts for a good long time, and I'm very excited about them because I think they're a great benefit to the people that we serve, and it makes our community safer when we do things right in the Therapeutic Courts. Just by way of background, in Saskatchewan, there are 7 therapeutic courts. We have 3 domestic violence courts, one in Battleford, so North Battleford area, that was started in 2003. One in Saskatoon that began operating in 2005, and one that began operating in Regina in 2008. We have 2 drug treatment courts, one in Regina, a federally funded model, which is the Cadillac version of things often compared to lesser funded. We also have, and that began in 2006, and then we have Moose Jaw Drug Treatment Court that began in 2009, and it is not federally funded, but the province assists us in our efforts. And then in 2013, Regina and Saskatoon Provincial Court began their mental health court, and they've been going since. Now I'm going to try and share with you a little PowerPoint. Is that available to be seen?
Yes, of course. Yeah, Judge Hinds, click on the share screen button, open your PowerPoint presentation, and then just click on the share screen button. It's a green color button. If you click on it, you'll be able to share your PowerPoint presentation. The green color right at the bottom row, the bottom row, where you clicked on your camera, there should be a green button that says share screen.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so just click on it. And I mean, first you have to open your PowerPoint, and then you click on the green button. And once you see your PowerPoint, double click on it, and all of us will be able to see it.
Is that up and running?
No, not yet. We still cannot see the PowerPoint. No. So yeah, I guess first you will have to open the PowerPoint presentation and then click on the green button.
Okay, well, the PowerPoint is open.
The PowerPoint is open. Now click on the green button, and when you click on the green button, you will see all your opened applications, all the open files that you have, and one of them should be your PowerPoint. Double click on the PowerPoint.
Well, you know, I don't think it's going to work. So,
okay. Do you want to just talk instead?
I'll talk instead.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to be distracted from what we're doing today. Now, in addition to the 7 therapeutic courts we have in Saskatchewan, we're hoping to add a drug treatment court, probably in the Battleford area in the near future, as well as the domestic violence court, hopefully in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, in the near future. Now, today I wanted to talk about the rather exciting topic of governance, structure for these courts. Why? Well, because our experience in Saskatchewan was that, and this is common, I think, is that individual judges took an interest in different therapeutic courts and then began them. And it was often a community and local judge initiative. And we started having different therapeutic courts pop up, so to speak. They didn't really pop up. They were planned. They take years to plan, and they came into being. But in 2018, the various therapeutic court teams from across our province and other key stakeholders came together and had a two-day in-person session to exchange knowledge and have strategic discussions about therapeutic courts. And one of the immediate results of this really important meetings was that the Ministry of Justice in our province was tasked with developing a governance structure for therapeutic courts, something they readily took on. And in 2019, the Therapeutic Courts Oversight Committee was formed, and it was to set provincial standards and to provide oversight of the therapeutic courts in Saskatchewan. This was important for a number of reasons, not the least of which is other communities were interested in developing or opening a therapeutic court, and the idea was to assist them in doing this, giving them some guidance and direction. Now, the membership of this Therapeutic Courts Oversight Committee included a member of the judiciary, who happened to be myself, and then we had a host of others, including we had an Associate Deputy Minister of Justice from our province. We had a Director of Therapeutic Courts from Justice. We had a Ministry of Justice Prosecutions person, senior official, Ministry of Justice senior official from Victim Services. And then we also had essentially, well, we call it Community Corrections and Policing, or otherwise known as Probation, senior executive, as well as the CEO of the Legal Aid Society. We also had Municipal Police, Regina, Saskatchewan, and RCMP, senior representatives. Also, Ministry of Social Services. Of course, a number of our clients depend on income assistance. And then we had Ministry of officials from health, mental health and addictions, Saskatchewan Health Authority, mental health and addictions, as well as the Public Prosecution Service of Canada and First Nations Inuit Health Mental Wellness Program. So that's who began that work in 2019. Now, the purpose of the committee, the Oversight Committee, was to set provincial standards and provide oversight of these therapeutic courts in Saskatchewan. And we had several goals in mind, which we've been working towards. One was to assist therapeutic courts and communities who are interested in establishing therapeutic courts. Two was to identify and promote the use of best practices in our therapeutic courts and actions supported by evidence-based research. Three, identify data needs and promote the evaluation of therapeutic courts to assess their impact on the criminal justice system and the communities that they serve. And then also, of course, to ensure that the therapeutic courts, whether they be a domestic violence, a drug treatment court, or a mental health court, were actually meeting the needs of the people appearing before those courts. Now, we had various roles and responsibilities set out, but first and foremost, we wanted to develop a provincial strategy for these therapeutic courts in Saskatchewan, develop, as I've said, these evidence-based provincial standards, and then make sure that there was coordination and provision of resources to therapeutic courts. And of course, an important one, as we're seeing today, is identifying educational opportunities for our team members and actively encourage and assist team members to attend educational events, such as the one they're attending today. We also, of course, are going to oversee the expansion of our existing therapeutic courts and working with communities and making available resources from various ministries at the community level. Also a part of it is anyone familiar with Therapeutic Courts is concerned is developing and implementing data collection and evaluations of therapeutic courts. And then, of course, actually communicating with the various therapeutic courts on a regular basis. And if necessary, provide some direction to local governance committees on issues or challenges that may arise. And lastly, we wanted to be a repository for existing protocols of each of the therapeutic courts. And this is some of the things we went about doing. So to date, our Therapeutic Courts Oversight Committee has completed a number of tasks. And one is setting out a governance structure. And if you can picture this, I'm sorry my slide isn't available for you to see, but we have this oversight committee at the top. Below that is we have local advisory committees for each of our current 7 therapeutic courts. And then below that is each of our 7 therapeutic courts. There's a two-way communication lines between all of these so that it's not a, while it looks like a top-down sort of structure, there's communication between each level. Now, we also set out our vision, our mission, values, and principles, which we developed, which I'll come to. And then some of the bigger work was on providing an overview and standard documents for each of the domestic violence courts, the drug treatment court, and the mental health courts. And so, to be clear, for domestic violence, we had one overview and standards document for all of them. We had one overview and standards documents for drug treatment court, and one overview and standards document which we developed for mental health court. As well, we created planning documents for each potential new court that wants to develop. So if a community said we'd like a domestic violence court, these planning documents set out who should be involved at the local level and what sort of steps they have to take in order to begin their planning for a drug treatment court, a domestic violence court, and a mental health court. And interestingly enough, it's been our experience that it takes between 2 to 3 years from the beginning of the community being interested in one of these courts and to its actual implementation. So the planning document helps those communities working with their judges, usually a judge that takes an interest in the local community, senior crown, senior legal aid, and of course then the very probation officer, and then treatment providers from within the community. And then finally, the other thing that the Oversight Committee has done is updated the content of our website regarding therapeutic court. And that's been a big task. And all of these other things that I've spoke of, the planning documents, the overview and standard documents, even the structure that I've talked about for the governance is all on our website. And this is a big part of our communication piece. If people don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, it's hard to get much public support for these things. While you might be well regarded within a small sphere, the idea is to make sure that we're accepted within our community and if there's our problems, and that we tell people what we're actually doing. Now, if your province doesn't have a Therapeutic Courts Oversight Committee, you may have a different way of approaching this, but we found that this is working for us because we put together a large number of senior people at perhaps a higher level, overlooking things and communicating with one another. And then we're greatly assisted by our Director of Therapeutic Courts, who's with the Ministry of Justice, Dawn Anderson. And Dawn plays a very vital role in that she is really the repository for most of this information. She also is a liaison between the oversight committee and the local city to see what issues may be the local level. And the idea, to be clear, is not to get involved with day-to-day operations, but if there's problems, challenges, obstacles, this is where the oversight committee can assist, particularly at once these if it can't be solved at a lower level, at the level of the actual therapeutic courts themselves, or at their advisory committee level, then the idea is for the oversight committee to assist in this regard. Now, in terms of our vision for our overall therapeutic courts in Saskatchewan, it is as follows. The Saskatchewan people are safer through reduced victimization from drug, domestic violence, and mental health related to crime by helping offenders change their behavior. And our mission, and this would be probably something I would expect to all relate to, is integrating justice, probation, treatment, health, and social services to empower offenders with substance use disorder, domestic violence behaviors, and mental health challenges to become non-offending, healthy, and productive community members, and this is particularly important, to provide victims with better support. And this is particularly so certainly in our domestic violence courts. Victims are taken into account there. There's a great need for communication with victims to let them know what's going on, how the case may be progressing through the court. And often, of course, we see at the domestic violence courts, there's always a need to address the desire to lift no contact conditions. So we have a process for no contact assessments. And usually we go about that when they've entered the program, the treatment option provided they have. Then as they move through their treatment, there usually is a graduated approach to the non-contact condition. It may start, for example, permitting a phone call. The phone calls may then graduate to perhaps a texting is permitted, provided other underlying issues are addressed in the further along in the program. It may relate to limited contact. That may be a third different location. There's always issues around an exchange or access to the program. But it's a graduated approach, and with the involvement of the victims all along the way. One of the important things, at least with respect to our domestic violence court, which I can speak of, is, and I know there is a debate about this, we require to be part of the program a guilty plea. And we also require at the early stage of proceedings, when the guilty plea is entered, there's an agreed statement of facts that is worked out between the Crown prosecutor and the defense lawyer, often either way. That's put in a sealed envelope, and so that when we get to the completion of the program, months, perhaps even a year down the road, there is an agreement upon what the facts were given by the defense. And then, of course, these models sentencing. I just wanted to briefly speak on a couple of other things today. In terms of these overview and standards documents for each of the domestic violence, drug treatment court, and mental health court, and planning documents for each, the easiest way to find this information, which we publish, is go to the Courts of Saskatchewan website, and that will list the Provincial Court, the Court of King's Bench, and the Court of Appeal. We're the people in blue, the Provincial Court. And if you then go under that, you can go down to the Therapeutic Courts, open that up, and you'll come to all the information I've referred to here in terms of the Therapeutic Courts. And these documents are quite detailed, and they will be revised from time to time. But they sort of set out our overview of the program, the standards, and then, of course, as I mentioned, the community is looking to develop one of these courts. There's planning documents to assist them in their endeavor. We're trying to help people along so that they can achieve what they want for their community. Now, the last thing I wanted just to say is there's 6 common features to therapeutic courts in Saskatchewan. And these would, I'm sure, resonate with many of you. We have a multidisciplinary team working collaboratively. Of course, we have, and part of this is having dedicated people. We've found over the years that you can't have rotating people. That is, you need a dedicated judge who sits in these courts 2 to 3 years. But you can't have a rotating situation there because of the, you get to know these people and they get to know you. You develop a trust or bond when it's done right. And there's a style of communication that occurs in the court that only happens when there's that, I think, relationship that's established. We also have dedicated prosecutors and duty counsel, which in our case could be delayed, although lawyers are welcome. Usually, although it's left to our duty counsel to provide it through the delay. And then the other, of course, important critical members of the team, I mentioned probation services, but then the treatment provider, whoever they may be in the local community, and these can be counselors, they can be a nurse, say in a drug court, they can be an elder, sometimes elders are involved in these processes. And of course, the multidisciplinary team has to work together,
Right.
usually led by a judge. The other common features are eligibility criteria and referral process, which is common to most these courts. We have a deferred sentencing model, which I've referred to. And then we have required programming. And then, of course, the 5th is monitoring of people's compliance and progress through regular court appearances. And then lastly, and most importantly, is the stabilization of the individual in the community, and then sentencing takes place, hopefully preventing the reoccurrence of the problem in the future.
Yeah. So Justice Hinds, thank you. I've also posted the link. I just Googled the Saskatchewan Therapeutic Court and I found it. I posted the link for our audience. And thank you. For those, I think, who are listeners, that's the website. And Justice Hinds, would there be a contact information for you, Justice Hinds, if anybody wants to contact you and set up something or get some knowledge, some information?
Sure, you can just contact me at mhinds, Hinds, at skprobcourt.ca.
Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you very much, Justice Hinds. Thank you for that amazing presentation. I just, getting such a large team together and kind of coming up with a plan, I think it's a really kind of a huge kind of a project to get everybody on board. But I think it also, speaks to that human beings are whole beings, and we cannot just say this is the legal part and then this is that, and then kind of having these holistic approaches, I think is marvelous. And the way you described it is bringing these team together, I think was amazing job to kind of get them all together. So thank you, Justice Hinds. We have